Need cheap coins right now? Check out redzonecoins.com. For the very best discount available, use code DIRECTOR for 20% off. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. We got a sensitive topic to go over today, one in regards to our head coach, Anthony Lynn. Now, riding the waves of emotions by fans can be something difficult to navigate, especially during a regular season, because with the highs comes praise, but with the lows come talk of change, sometimes radical change. In these past few weeks, fans have been suggesting that Lynn's job could be in jeopardy if things don't start to improve very soon. Is this true? Could Anthony Lynn find himself in the hot seat if he can't turn this season around? There is evidence to suggest this, but I want to paint a bigger picture for you guys. But before we do get started on this video, hit us up with a like and sub. If you do enjoy this Chargers content, the small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. So why are fans calling for Anthony Lynn's job only 3 weeks into the regular season? Well, first I want to discuss what's happening with the team right now. The Chargers are currently 1-2, and most would say we could easily be 3-0 right now after dropping close losses versus Kansas City and Carolina. And I won't argue against that. Now, if the Chargers were undefeated at this point of the season, I think we'd be having a very different conversation right now, but that's just not the case. There are a few critical errors made by Lynn and his coaching staff that may have cost us those wins. Not going for it on 4th and 1 versus the Chiefs in week 2. This is a big one for me. During one of the most spectacular rookie debuts I've ever seen, it seems it wasn't enough for Anthony Lynn to trust his young quarterback in this critical situation. And I can see why a lot of fans disagree with this call. It likely cost us the game. And if I'm being honest, I'm with you in this opinion. You don't just punt the ball in overtime versus Patrick Mahomes. It's never gonna end well. And our run game was proving to be effective in this matchup, so simply trusting Herbert to hand it off to Eckler or Kelly would have sufficed in a last effort in most fans' eyes. Hell, call up a short pass or even a designed QB run. I understand that the playbook had shrunk significantly with Herbert's last-second start, but even had the conversion failed, I think most fans would agree that it was the right call in the end. But this doesn't mean that Lynn isn't willing to take risks. In week 1, he had no problem going for it on 4th and short situations, but ultimately Tyrod Taylor wasn't able to get it done. Still, I believe it was the right call. Be aggressive. This helps me segue into my next topic, Tyrod Taylor. I think a lot of the foundation in fan skepticism towards Lynn lies on his stance with Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. Many of us were stunned in week 2 when Herbert took the field. Not only did he survive that game, he thrived. This ignited a fire in Chargers fans, sparking hope and optimism in the ability of Justin Herbert to lead this team to success in the future, and in this case, the immediate future. But even with Herbert's once-in-a-lifetime debut against the defending Super Bowl champions nonetheless, it seems it still wasn't enough to earn the approval of his head coach. And some would say his comments on Herbert post-game were cynical and even downright disrespectful. He's a backup quarterback for a reason. Now, I was feeling upset on Herbert's behalf. I'm sure as a lot of Chargers fans also were, but I also understood the situation. It was a very weird thing that was going on. Tyrod Taylor was benched under extremely rare circumstances, an error by the medical staff. A punctured lung during a routine procedure right before kickoff likely cost Tyrod Taylor his job. I don't think the situation can be found in any manual for a head coach. Lynn was dealing with the stress of leading this game with a quarterback that had never played it down in the NFL, a quarterback with very few reps with the first team in practice, a quarterback that wasn't even projected to start until late into the season or not at all. And beyond that, he had to carefully navigate the situation with Tyrod Taylor. There's a real chance that Tyrod could probably sue. And yes, I've also heard that he wouldn't be allowed to sue due to some sort of agreement or consent before the shot, but I don't know that for sure. So it really felt like Lynn was trying to be careful with what he said as to not cause more commotion division than there already was. It's just unfortunate that Herbert had to get thrown under the bus to do so. And this left a sour taste in a lot of Chargers fans' mouths. And beyond this crazy situation, it had already felt like Lynn has been playing favorites when it comes to Tyrod Taylor. Many of us know their pre-existing relationship was strong. Lynn coached Taylor back in his days in Buffalo, and it seemed that Lynn wanted to make something work with quarterbacks that he had worked with in the past. This is evident even before Tyrod Taylor. You guys remember a man by the name of E.J. Manuel? Manuel was a backup in Buffalo that some felt maybe had some potential, but Lynn was trying to make him something he wasn't, because many felt he was nothing more than an average backup. And after years of holding on to Manuel, Lynn finally cut ties with him in 2019. But that same year, he brought in Tyrod Taylor, another ex-Buffalo Bill quarterback that he shared history with. And it seems it was done with the long-term plan of parting ways with Phillip Rivers. Now, I'll say this, I loved Phillip Rivers, but his time with the Chargers was likely up. But I'm also sure a lot of us weren't expecting his predecessor to be Tyrod Taylor in the 2020 season. Most of us who had watched Tyrod these last few years knew he was nothing more than a decent backup, a journeyman. And I hate to say it, but I feel like this was justified and confirmed during his Week 1 performance against the Bengals. All of this leads fans to think that Lynn is kind of playing favorites here. That even though Herbert clearly looks like the best chance for this team to win right now, Lynn won't budge. Now, before I start getting into the conclusion of this video, I do need to mention some of the events that happened in Week 3 and why this may have been a breaking point for some fans. Lynn made some suspect decisions, from throwing a challenge flag on an automatic review situation to poor clock management, play calling. It felt like the coaching staff was holding back, playing too conservatively, playing not to lose rather than to win. This is something fans have been accusing Lynn of these past few weeks, and maybe this is right, or maybe it's just a stretch. But to me, I can't help but feel this way at sometimes. Lynn has a lot of work to do to win back respect from the fans. Clean up the penalties, really bring down the hammer on limiting turnovers, and stop playing conservatively. Trust Justin Herbert. You have something really special in this kid, and I'd hate to see his potential stinted because we keep holding him back. Now, ultimately, I think we do need to pump the brakes a little bit when talking about getting Lynn fired. It's easy to point out these mistakes when times are tough, but he does hold a lot of respect in the locker room for a reason. Does this mean he won't land in the hot seat eventually? No, he could certainly be in jeopardy if something doesn't change. Now listen, I like Anthony Lynn. I think he's done wonders for our run game, and he's all around a very talented and intelligent human being. I just need to see him get after it more. Don't take your foot off the gas. Stop playing not to lose and start playing to win. But the biggest thing for me is the situation with Herbert. I understand that Lynn likes Tyrod Taylor a lot. I understand that he believes in him. And I also understand that Tyrod should not lose his job because of an error from our medical staff. But ultimately, injuries happen. Things like this just happen. And I think Herbert has more than proven that he gives us a better shot to win right now. Herbert is improving with every game, with every snap. He's shown that he's not the kind of quarterback that you should sit and develop. He's more of a hands-on learner. His time is best spent on the field in his rookie season. If Tyrod wants his job back, he should earn it in practice. He should have to prove that he's more capable than Herbert to lead this offense. But if a decision is made to bench Herbert simply because it's not fair, then I don't know if I'm really happy with that. And I know that my reaction is probably similar to a lot of other Chargers fans as well. If Lynn benches Herbert after week 4, I could probably see an uproar from the fans. And the worst part in this situation is that if Tyrod starts in week 5, we can't really blame Tyrod if we lose, because we were playing the Saints and it was a backwards matchup. But then he would face the Jets, the Dolphins, the Jags, and the Raiders back to back. This was kind of my target date to start Justin Herbert this season, because these are games that honestly Justin Herbert should win. And if Justin Herbert could win them, then I do think Tyrod does stand a chance. He could definitely manage his way to a win in these instances. And if he does that, the hopes of getting Herbert back on the field to learn are then washed away. This is not the way to do it. Keep Herbert on the field until he proves that he can't handle it. Keep him on the field for that 4-week stretch of good matchups. Build his confidence and help him develop in the way that's proven to work for him on the field. I promise you, the moment that Lynn begins to trust Herbert is the moment I feel the season gets back on track. He's shown that he's capable of more than what we're giving him. I don't want to hold him back. So in conclusion, I will say this. It's not time to start calling for Anthony Lynn's job. Not right now. We're too early in the season. If I'm being honest, I have faith in Anthony Lynn. I have faith that he can turn it around. But I do also acknowledge that this could shift very quickly. And the quickest way this would happen, in my opinion, in my eyes, is if he benches Justin Herbert for the wrong reasons. What do you guys think in the comment section below? Do you think that Anthony Lynn could be seeing the hot seat in the next couple of weeks, or do you think there's a chance that we turn it around and maybe start putting more trust in Justin Herbert? Either way, I don't think Anthony Lynn needs to absolutely win games in order to win our respect back. He just needs to make less mistakes and make more intelligent decisions when in a football game. Because things like the challenge flag, clock management, bad play calling, these all do ultimately land on his shoulders. He needs to have a sit down with the OC. He needs to have a sit down with his quarterbacks and really figure out what he wants to do long term. And I believe that he can do this. I really hope that he can do this. But if not, there is a possibility, at least in my opinion. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty.